on now, fellas. We've got to answer the bell. Now let's go.
Hey, welcome in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. It's Thursday. Glad to be with you. As always, I'm Chris Yow. Mo Patton's with you on the other side, and we are coming to you from the Lee Company studio. Again, boy, what a tough week it's been. Just rain, dreary all week long. So I guess one of us is super excited to be heading south, way south, no matter how you're going to get there.
One of us. Yeah. And I hate it for the other of us, but hey, into each life some rain must fall, right? So
there you go. I'm curious what the 10-day forecast looks like. Next week looks decent. So
doesn't it get better this weekend?
Yeah. So Sunday is going to be partly cloudy. We don't have much rain in the forecast until next Sunday. So it's going to be mostly sunny and partly cloudy all week next week. Knock on wood. So I'll take that. 70, 72, 74, 76, and 78. So it just increases by twos every day.
Yeah, fairly consistent there. Yeah. Gotta like it.
We'll take that. But yeah, looking forward to a fun time here covering mainly sports next week. Should be interesting. Trying to get folks to understand that they're going to have to pick up some slack here at Main Street Murray, and so they're looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to being out on the Diamonds next week. So be wary.
We'll get you out there,
Murray County sports folks.
Because
you never know. Yeah, you never know who you might see. Oh, man, what a great show we've got lined up. We've got a heck of a coach's corner today, considering that last week Jamal Stewart threw down some I don't even know if it was a challenge, because he basically said one of them didn't want the challenge.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think there was a gauntlet thrown down. I'll be interested to see if it gets picked up.
We'll talk to Chris Simpson, new Maplewood coach. He also won an award today. We'll tell you what that is later when we hand out hardware. We've also got Dave Hooker of Off the Hook Sports. He's going to talk a little bit more about that Tennessee NCAA situation. Again, he had a pretty lengthy spot on his show yesterday about it. So I feel like he's well versed, at least at this point, much more so than we are. So I'm looking forward to talking to him. Of course, we're going to talk Braves and a little college football. As you know, there's some ideas out there to spice up the spring, and I'm not necessarily opposed. Also, big top story. We'll get to it in just a moment. But first, we have to get you to yesterday's results and today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the rundown.
Results are short. High school baseball yesterday, Spring Hill defeated Moore County 3-1. I don't know where they played. I don't know how they played, but they played. In the major leagues, the Atlanta Braves picked up a 5-2 victory at St. Louis, sweeping that 3-game series.
And that was Jesse Chavez's first save as a Brave.
As a Brave.
Yes, as his 8th career first as a Brave.
Wow.
That's kind of hard to believe, too, by the way.
Well, yeah, when you get to the point of Jesse Chavez's career that he's gotten, there aren't too many firsts, but that was one. So congratulations to him. In the association, Grizzlies went down to New Orleans and dropped a 138-131 overtime decision. Today, scheduled baseball games. Again, check your local listings. At 4 o'clock, Antioch is at Pearl Cone. 4:30 starts for Lipscomb Academy at Brentwood Academy. Waverly at Columbia Academy. Lyon County, Kentucky is playing Dixon County at 4:30. White House is at East Robertson. Christ Presbyterian Academy is at Ensworth. Culleoka is playing a doubleheader at Frank Hughes. First game starts at 4:30. Hume Fogg is at Hunters Lane. Martin Luther King is at Overton. Providence Christian goes to Mount Juliet Christian. University School of Nashville hosts Montgomery Bell Academy, and that will be out at their River Road campus. Don't make the mistake that a friend of mine made for track earlier this week and go into the main campus. At 5 o'clock, Battleground Academy is at Donaldson Christian. That's actually at the school. Kenwood is at Fort Campbell, Kentucky at 5:30, and also Mount Pleasant is at Hampshire.
DCA has a nice little facility over there.
Yeah.
At 6 o'clock tonight, Rockville's at Riverdale and Blackman's at Siegel. Westmoreland goes to Trousdale County, while West Creek hosts Joe Burns at 6:30. It's Nolensville at Brentwood, Centennial at Franklin, Russellville of Alabama should be at Loretto, and McGavock hosting Stratford. Also at 6:30, Grace Franklin's at MTCS, also known as Middle Tennessee Christian. And Greenbrier takes on White House Heritage. At 7 o'clock tonight, Fairview's at East Hickman. Portland takes on Sycamore, and Laverne and Webb School play today at some point. In the Donnie Everett Memorial Classic, Tees Valley, Ohio, takes on Clarksville at Clarksville at 4 o'clock. And Clarksville Northeast will play Gallatin at Rossview at 4. Gallatin and Rossview will then play at 6:30. And at Clarksville Academy, it's Houston and the hosts at 7. Scott Dean Memorial, Science Hill and Davidson Academy at 6:30, as well as Stars Mill, Georgia, and Beach at 6:30. And the ETBCA Classic, East Tennessee Baseball Coaches Association.
Yes.
That was a pure guess. Glad I got it. Lebanon and Grace Knoxville at 3:45.
I'd call it an educated guess. So
It was.
Yeah. Softball today. Again, check your local listings because it's looking pretty dreary out there. At 4:30, Davidson Academy hosts Donaldson Christian. 5 o'clock, Clarksville Christian is at Franklin Road Christian. Columbia Academy goes to Franklin Grace at 5. Also at 5, Muscle Shoals of Alabama is at Loretto. Nashville Christian hosts Ezel Harding. Page hosts Nolensville. Murfreesboro Central plays a doubleheader at Upperman. All those are at 5 o'clock. 5:30 starts for Overton and Brentwood. Creekwood at Greenbrier. Lawrence County at Tullahoma. Zion Christian hosting Marshall County. At 6, Cornersville is at Eagleville. Oak Hills of Ohio is at Smyrna. Laverne is at Stewart's Creek. Rockvale hosts Oakland at 6:30. Blackman is at Siegel at 6:30. And at some time today, the Knights Academy plays at Good Pasture.
Boys soccer this afternoon. Ezel Harding at Davidson Academy at 4:30. At 5 o'clock, it's Donaldson Christian hosting Good Pasture. Clarksville Academy going to Kenwood. Middle Tennessee Christian hosting Providence Christian, and Nashville Christians at Mount Juliet Christian. Also at 5, Lawrence County at Page. Lebanon at Smyrna. Whites Creek hosting Westmoreland at 5:30. Spring Hills at Dixon County. John Overton is at Franklin Road Academy. Knowledge Academy is hosting East Robertson, while Columbia Academy travels down to Fayetteville to take on Lincoln County. Zion Christian hosting FC Boyd. And at 6 o'clock, Station Camp should be at Murray County Park taking on Columbia Central. Christ Presbyterian will be at Gallatin. Loretto hosting Decatur County Riverside, while Murfreesboro Central's at Marshall County. At 6:30, West Creek is at White House, and at 7, Riverdale's at Blackman. Antioch at Green Hill. Hendersonville at hosting Nolensville. Stewart's Creek at Rockville, and Oakland is at Siegel.
College baseball tonight. Vanderbilt goes over to Como, taking on former Nashville Sound Steve Beezer and the Missouri Tigers. That's a 6 o'clock start on SEC Network Plus. 7 o'clock on ESPNU. You can see Florida at Tennessee. At 5 o'clock, dropping back a couple of hours, Austin Peay is at Kennesaw State. At 6 on ESPN Plus, you've got Belmont at Southern Illinois. 4 o'clock start for Lipscomb at North Alabama. That's on ESPN Plus, as is Belmont, Southern Illinois. And at 6 o'clock on Facebook, 100 Miles of Hate, once again, MTSU at Western Kentucky. College softball tonight. Well, today, right now. Baylor is at Tennessee. That was a 2:00 first pitch. Charlotte plays at MTSU. That's game 2. Started about 10 minutes ago on ESPN Plus. At 5:00 on ESPN Plus, you can catch Belmont at Illinois Chicago. And in junior college action, VOLS State is at Southwest Tennessee in a doubleheader that started at 2:00. Major League Baseball, 6:20 tonight on Bally Sports Southeast. The Braves finally get back to Truist Field, taking on San Diego. And in minor league baseball of area interest, the Sounds continue their series at Memphis with a 5:05 doubleheader tonight. On the ice, Hurricanes, Preds, Bridgestone Arena, 7:00, Hulu. And that is your rundown.
Yes. If you notice there, we kind of do this thing where I slip behind Mo for the rundown, and then when I come back, I'm back on my side. It's really cool. I like the way it kind of flips there. It's interesting. Keep you on your toes, geezer. Top story today. Didn't see this coming, but down in Rocket City was Conference USA and its officials as they announced Huntsville, Alabama as the host for Conference USA men's and women's basketball tournaments next season and in 2025, which is super exciting for us because it's not in Frisco. And if we want to go, it's not too bad.
It's significantly closer.
Right. And boy, can you imagine a Middle Jacksonville final or something in a packed house at Probst Arena at the Von Braun Civic Center would be just phenomenal.
Now, this is Probst Arena, Propst, not Probst, right? So,
yes, although the P is the same as the coach, and
it's
not the coach.
No, it's not related to the coach.
Not
right?
the coach.
Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure. What is the draw for Conference USA to Huntsville? That's my question. I mean, again, it's awesome that it's there, and it's super exciting and super convenient, primarily for MTSU fans. But what?
Well, let's think about it. I mean, obviously, Nashville might be a better option, but Huntsville is the most populated city in the state of Alabama, for one.
Really?
Two,
Oh,
yes.
Stop.
Yes, they are the most populated city in the state.
I did not know that. I would never have guessed that. And I wonder how many people in Alabama know that. Because I would have thought Birmingham, Mobile, Montgomery, maybe. I didn't realize Huntsville was that big. But
yeah, it's especially now with NASA's headquarters moving from Houston to Huntsville. It's pretty massive. Of course, Madison, the area where most of those folks live, because Madison, Alabama has the most millionaires per capita than anywhere in the country because of that. Engineers, man, especially if you're working on rockets, you better be getting paid.
There you right.
Did NASA move because they needed space? Yes. That's actually Huntsville's tagline now. We've got space. It's legitimately, that's their headline or their tagline. That's not a lie.
And you know what? Somebody made a lot of money on that.
It's kind of like Spring Hill's Feel the Welcome. Paid $100,000 for somebody to say that. No, thank you. But let's look at it. All right. So FIU, Jacksonville State, Liberty, Middle, Western. That's 5 right there that are east of Huntsville. Then you've got New Mexico, Sam Houston, UTEP, and La Tech. That's just 4. So the closest, obviously, you're looking at it geographically, and it's, Huntsville kind of makes a lot of sense geographically for, as far as the middle of the conference. Now, obviously, if you took the geographic center, it would probably be in Arkansas somewhere. And North Little Rock might not be a bad option.
North Little Rock,
or South Haven.
I don't know if it's Alltel Arena anymore, but I did cover an SEC women's tournament in North
Gosh.
Little Rock once, and it was at the time a really nice facility. Of course,
I can't imagine it's Alltel Arena anymore, but
I
that's
wouldn't think.
Simmons Bank Arena.
There we go.
That makes more sense.
That makes significantly more sense. Yeah. But,
Uh,
I mean, Huntsville, what do? You fly into Nashville and then bus down?
I mean, Huntsville has an airport,
Okay.
and it's not like a small airport. I mean, I feel like you could. I feel like you could probably fly into it. They have like Southwest has direct flights to a lot of places out of there. So I mean, Huntsville's airport's fairly significant.
Okay. All right. I mean, I've just never considered flying into or out of Huntsville, obviously, but
A lot of people do because for some reason they have some fairly inexpensive flights.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
And good point here. Hotels are probably a lot cheaper in Huntsville, Alabama than these bigger cities.
Yeah.
Nice point.
Even once they gouge you, it'll still be cheaper, probably.
Right. So I mean, to me, it feels like a really it's an interesting thought, but it also makes a lot of sense.
The bad thing about
Really
this,
thinking
though,
about it.
Chris, is
What's that?
that from here to Huntsville, you don't go past Buc-ee's.
Well, you can. You just got to go down to 565 instead of taking 72 across.
Or where is it?
So it's just south of Athens. It's just south of the 72 exit. So you could go another 3 miles, go to Buc-ee's, and then come back to 72 if you wanted to, and go across. Or you can just go down to 565 and not have to go through all of the little towns between 72 or between Athens and Huntsville.
Okay, got you. Okay,
You could do it.
So you can work a Buc-ee's trip in and go support the Blue Raiders and the Lady Raiders in.
I could work a Buc-ee's trip into anywhere.
There you go.
If I'm out of fudge, I can go. I will make a special trip. What you talking about?
Speaking of, where is mine? You brought it to me and we forgot it.
Well, no, it was sitting in the back seat and somebody sat on it. I'm not going to say who sat on it in the back seat, but it's okay. It still exists. It's still in here and it's still in the bag. So it'll be fresh when you get it.
Fresh but sat on.
Well, no, it's okay now. It's all good. It's all good. It wasn't completely flattened. It was just a little bit. So
good.
Rick Insel had some things to say about it. We're excited to see the Conference USA Championships moves to Huntsville, Alabama for the upcoming season. The city of Huntsville will be an outstanding host city for one of the most competitive and exciting conference tournaments in the nation. I know our loyal supporters will come out in full force to see our team play in Huntsville in 2024 as we look to defend our Conference USA title less than 100 miles from Murphy Center. Now, I don't know if that 100 miles was a shot at Western, but no, seriously. I mean, it's being nearby for, one of the most passionate fan bases, I would say, in Conference USA makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The only bad thing is there's no more curtain. There won't be a curtain.
The CUSA curtain Twitter account will
cease to
just
exist.
Be a memory, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
But again, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a really good thing for Conference USA. I think you will see solid crowds from Western, from Liberty, from Middle, obviously, and Jacksonville State. I think La Tech isn't that. I mean, La Tech to me isn't that far. Ruston to Huntsville seems like a fairly simple
workable
trip. Yeah, it's a simple trip. I mean, I think this is a good move for Conference USA.
I think you're really going to see Middle fans show up and show out for this.
It's important for them too, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, especially given the way the women's program has played in this tournament over the past few years, and with another team like the one they had this past year, I think they're really going to storm that place. So, looking forward to seeing how that goes. Now, it's a 2-year commit. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
All right. There you have it. That is our top story for the day. We'll come back and we will have Coach's Corner on the other side of the break as Chris Simpson joins us from Maplewood on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back to the Lee Company studio after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Attention Tennessee homeowners, we want to buy your house. Hi, we are Real Property Solutions, a local real estate investing group. We pay cash for all types of property, so you walk away with more money in your pocket because we eliminate any fees, closing costs, and commissions. Now the best part, we can buy your house as is, meaning you don't have to do a thing to your property. You get to take what you want, leave what you don't, and don't even worry about cleaning. We close on your timeline, whether that's 7 days or 70 days. Interested in selling? Just give us a call and we'll come out to your property and quote you a cash offer within 24 hours. Please call 615-527-8750. That's 615-527-8750.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yow and Mo Patton here with you on this Thursday, and looking forward to our next segment as we go to the Real Property Solutions hotline on Coach's Corner, which is brought to you by From the Heart Cafe out in Chapel Hill. And yes, if you think this sounds like a NASCAR interview, it kind of is, and that's okay because we have a lot of sponsors and we appreciate them very, very much. So let's go to Coach's Corner, presented by From the Heart in Chapel Hill. Renee Hart and the fine folks out there taking care of you, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, catering, or more. Just give them a call or go see them on your way out to Henry Horton State Park. From the Heart Cafe. Mo, we have Coach Chris Simpson with us, and we have a question to ask him. You want to? We do have Coach Chris Simpson with us. Newly minted Maplewood coach Chris Simpson returning to his alma mater. And Chris, we need to ask you what your scrimmage plans are for
either this spring or in August, because we spoke to a friend of yours last week and floated the idea of a Centennial Maplewood scrimmage, and here's what he had to say.
The band did break up, but still good friends. But, like I said, the show must go on.
Well, I'm sure we can look forward to that Maplewood Centennial scrimmage here at some point, but be sure and let us know when that gets scheduled, because I know y'all will. But
hey, let me say this on air. Coach Simpson doesn't want that, guys. Listen,
okay.
listen,
I guess we know who our next coach's corner is.
Hey,
So with that, we introduce new Maplewood coach Chris Simpson, former East Nashville defensive coordinator, who may or may not want Centennial in a scrimmage here. Chris, you want to defend yourself?
I want more than the scrimmage. I want a game. I told him as soon as I heard that, I called him immediately. Told him line them up. So be expecting the next cycle. We're definitely playing them. Hopefully, we play them week 1, so we can go to settle the smoke.
That's awesome. Just be sure and cut us in on some of that gate when y'all play. So
we got to. Maybe we can do a pregame show. get the people going.
That'll work. Chris, welcome home, man. What's that like for you? I mean, you as a senior, played on a Maplewood team that played for a state championship, lost to Maryville. No shame in that. But I mean, what to be back at your alma mater here? What's that mean, and what's that been like here in the past few weeks?
What it means is, one is a blessing for sure. It's a super blessing just to even be considered for the head coach position in the first place, and then to have it at my alma mater. Just all the heartfelt pouring of people just coming out and just telling me congratulations and do great things and that. And it's just, especially from the alumni, everybody that's seen me growing up, going up through the ranks of playing up and growing the ranks of coaching, just everyone who's reached out to me personally or by way of somebody else, I thank all of them for sure, and just hearing all the, like I said, the warm felt, the welcome home. They seem to love me and seem to want me to do good things, but it's definitely been a whirlwind. Just get back in. Well, first is being a newly minted head coach, as you said, getting thrown into the fire a little bit on some things, but things will work. Is getting done slowly but surely, and it's just been great, honestly. The administration, I think Dr. Brooks, Coach Ty Wilson, which he just recently resigned from basketball, but Coach Ty Wilson, all the administration at Maplewood, for just giving the opportunity and doing the things in order that are needed to build the program back to where it used to be.
Coach, we need to say congratulations. You were announced this morning as the 2023 High School Broyles Award winner by Field Turf for the state of Tennessee, which goes to the state's top assistant coach. That's pretty exciting, and just goes to show that your work is not unnoticed, even if not as a head coach. So that's got to be exciting for you.
Yes, it's super exciting. When I got the phone call yesterday to let me know that I was going to be the recipient of the award, it was truly amazing, honestly. Just to even, like I said, even be in consideration for things of this nature. Because day in, day out, you just go to work and try to put out the best for you from me to the kids. Just doing the best I can possibly, and just to see that everybody is paying attention to it is really astounding to me. Like, I was telling my friends the other day, do you know this many people know you or notice what you're doing? So this is really amazing. The top assistant in the state is, I can't thank God enough. I really thank my coaching staff and my head coach as well, even though we have he's my best bud, Jamal Stewart, but he put me in a position to succeed, and I just thank them. I definitely thank my defensive staff as well for helping me. They do great things we made a great run, the great 2 years. So we're trying to keep that up going.
Former East Nashville defensive coordinator Chris Simpson joining us here on Coach's Corner, presented by From the Heart Cafe, in his new role as head coach at his alma mater at Maplewood. You know, Chris, the way this thing went down with you getting the Maplewood spot and Jamal almost immediately getting the Centennial position. I mean, and I know you're back at your alma mater, and I know this is a pretty tough question that I'm getting ready set up to ask you, but I mean, had you known that he was leaving, would you have tried to stay put at East Nashville?
Definitely a tough question. I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know. I'm a believer in things work out how they're supposed to work out, honestly. So I think it was meant to me to be at Maplewood. I just think this is how the cards fell, and this is where we going. Well, not where we're going with. I'm thrilled to be at Maplewood. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me twisted. But at the same time, what we've built and having the opportunity to possibly continue what we've gone through, that would have been nice as well. But it's time for a new beginning.
Which is understandable, obviously, and of course, being home, which is massive. You know, Maplewood a couple years ago had a couple of really good football teams, and it's certainly a school that can be competitive in football. And getting them there quickly, is that something you feel like that you can kind of come in and see what you've got and make some changes and perhaps get them back pretty quickly, or does this feel like something that's going to take a little while?
I don't think it's going to take a little while. I want to say quickly, as I told them in my interview, I think it's not necessarily a total rebuild, but I think we have pieces that we can compete this year. So the goal is definitely get out of the first round this year, make the playoffs last year. So the goal is to win the region off top, but to make the playoffs, get out of the first round. Then from there, we're just going to continue to build it until hopefully we're making those deep playoff runs that we're accustomed to, third or fourth round playoff runs. But this year, it's to get out of the first round, and we'll just build it from there. But who knows? We might surprise the people this year and take it further than we've been in a while.
Chris Simpson, new Maplewood coach, joining us here on Coach's Corner, presented by From the Heart Cafe over in Chapel Hill. You know, Chris, again, played at Maplewood, and not just football, multi-sport guy. We always like those multi-sport guys here on the show. But to be back in those halls that you were in as a kid and dealing with these kids who I'm sure know who you were and are, how important is that to you? Just being around guys that are in the same space that you were in 15 years ago.
Oh, it's super important, honestly, because I'm a product of the environment around it, and I made something of myself. So just to show them that you can get out and make something of yourself as well, and there's more than one way to do things. Like I said, we push the school in more than just football. If you want to go to college route, go to college route. We got trades, we got auto mechanics, we got an engineer, we have cosmetology. So we pushing more than just football. As I always tell them, don't put all the eggs in all in one basket. I played football, baseball, and basketball. So it's like go be the person that you're destined to be. Go be somebody special in the world. Don't let anything hold you back, and just to have those, just to be in the hallways again, which is crazy because nothing much has really changed. I mean, they got some new additions, but of the new gym and the things of that nature, but nothing much has changed that far. That I was like, I was walking down the hallway today, just reminiscing some of the times we had, like even the cafeteria things of that nature. But to be back in front of those kids and just show them that you can have an opportunity to get out, make something of yourself is very important. I mean, I got some coaches who also Tyrone Van Leer, who played football with me as well. Kendrick Watkins, he's 3 years after me. My goal is to get all the alumni coaches to get back and just show them like this is what pride looks like. This is what taking care of in-house looks like. So hopefully we can turn it back to what it needs to be.
Chris, looking at the article that announced your hiring by Tyler Palmatier a couple of weeks ago, 9 seasons in Metro Nashville, spent time at McGavock, Pearl-Cohn, Overton, and East Nashville. You've been around some of Metro's top luminaries with Jamal, with Arcente Broom, I think, Tony Brunetti, obviously. I guess you're with Jay Gore over at McGavock.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you take from those guys into your first head coaching role?
I take a little bit of everything from all of them, honestly. Coach Gore showed me how to maneuver around Metro, how to get things done in a timely manner. Coach Brunetti, how to get in touch with these college coaches, how to push your kids. Jamal, just building relationships with the feeder schools and just building relationships in general. Coach Wade showed me the X's and O's, ins and outs of defense. He also recruited me with the Cumberland when I played up there. Coach Smiley in Georgia, he gave me the blueprint of how to run the program, building your booster club up, and just all these coaches. I've taken a little bit of piece from all of those and just try to combine it into one big thing. It's still me, but I took a piece from all of them and built it into something I truly believe in, and that I'm trying to push, and I'm going to push into the new Maplewood job. Well, into the gig that I am. Guys trying to start a booster club up. Hopefully they'll have that done by June. Doing a couple of things around, so it's going to be exciting. Just to get people on board, just to get the alumni back, just to get the sponsors in, and just show them my vision, show what we building towards and what we working towards.
And new field turf. That'll be exciting.
Yeah, field turf.
It's huge.
I don't know what we on the list on that, but I mean, we play what we play on for now. So when that comes, of course, we'll be openly thrilled to play on it.
Coach, it's always exciting to see guys get a chance to live their dream and be a head coach, and to do it at their alma mater is always fun, and we'll be rooting for you and looking forward to that Centennial Maplewood scrimmage game, whatever it may be, very, very soon.
Can't wait. I'm tired of saving Jamal. I just saved him. The defense has saved the offense for 3 years, so I'm tired of saving him. So it's our turn I'm tired of saving him.
No shortage of trash talk here on Main Street Sports Today on Coach's Corner over the last couple of weeks. We're going to keep you guys on at the same time and just let you go. Chris, seriously, man, we appreciate you taking some time with us. And again, we look forward to seeing what you can do at Maplewood, man.
Yes, I thank you guys. Thank you guys for your coverage, and continue to bless the world with what you do.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
Oh, that's Chris Simpson on Coach's Corner, presented by From the Heart Cafe out in Chapel Hill. Again, go see Renee Hart and the fine folks out there. They do a fantastic job, and that was the Real Property Solutions Hotline. We are going to take a break. When we come back, college football.
Hey.
Yo. Oh, no, we got to hand out some hardware.
First.
You're right. I'm sorry. Hardware.
That's all right. Just want to make sure.
My bad.
You cool?
We will take a break, but first we're going to give out some hardware. All right. So we will go to, let's see here. What have we got first? The End to Win Life Team of the Week, presented by Custom Stone Handlers. Of course, outside the military, the greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. Visit them at customstonehandlers.com or 931-490-4990. And this week, the award is going to
the Independence Eagles baseball team. Went 2-1 last week. Sorry, Summit. They took 2 of 3 from Summit and exited the week as the #1 team in Class 4A, as dubbed by the Tennessee Baseball Coaches Association. This week was a little bit of a struggle for them, but we'll deal with that later. But for now, The Independence Eagles baseball team is our Into Win Life team of the week.
And the Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint Athlete of the Week. You went way out to get this one, Mo.
Well, hey, I mean, look at it. Columbia Central rugby player Kiana Edwards. She's also a basketball player, but in 2 rugby games, scored 10 tries. Now, I didn't know exactly what that meant, but a former coworker of mine played some rugby in college, and so I ran these numbers by him, and he said, "Yeah, that's pretty boss." So, Kiana scored 10 tries in 2 games, 6 in a 65-7 Lady Lions win over Father Ryan, 4 in an 80-7 win over Spring Hill. And even if you don't know anything about rugby, 65-7, 80-7. Enough said. And this is her first year of rugby, so look out when she figures it out. But
Yeah.
Kiana Edwards of Columbia Central is our Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint Athlete of the Week. Congratulations to her.
All right, now we will take that break, and when we come back to the studio, we will talk a little college football on Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Y'all stick around.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think about calling for a ride. Nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that can happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone.
Attention Tennessee homeowners, we want to buy your house. Hi, we are Real Property Solutions, a local real estate investing group. We pay cash for all types of property, so you walk away with more money in your pocket because we eliminate any fees, closing costs, and commissions. Now the best part, we can buy your house as is, meaning you don't have to do a thing to your property. You get to take what you want, leave what you don't, and don't even worry about cleaning. We close on your timeline, whether that's 7 days or 70 days. Interested in selling? Just give us a call and we'll come out to your property and quote you a cash offer within 24 hours. Please call 615-527-8750. That's 615-527-8750. Walmart Supply Chain is hiring in Lebanon. Earn up to $22.25 an hour when you join our new fulfillment center. Enjoy competitive pay and premium perks, including 100% paid college tuition, 401k match, flexible schedules, a free Walmart Plus membership that includes discounts, and free Paramount Plus, paid time off, and so much more. Fulfilling work starts right here. Text JOIN to 240-240. That's JOIN 240-240 to apply now.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. In the Lee Company studio is Chris Yow and Mo Patton. Are you leaving? No. Oh, he's trying to sit up. There you are.
I didn't like you being taller than me.
I was a little bit tall.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, college football this time of year, not typically on our radar because we're not sports talking Birmingham. If we were,
it's always on your, it stays
always
on your radar. Yeah, there is no off season.
No, there is no off season in Birmingham, but obviously, and this comes from Alabama. Surprise, surprise. Hugh Freeze, Auburn head coach, threw out a thought, and it's not really a new idea, Mo. This has been brought up before, and has actually gained a little bit of popularity among a lot of coaches. Coach Hugh Freeze said that he'd like to see Auburn play someone like UAB or Troy in the spring. Now, Trent Dilfer, new coach at UAB, said, quote, yes, 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 as well. Is this something that could be done, should be done? What are your thoughts on Power 5 teams playing Group of 5 or FCS teams in the spring?
I'd rather see them play FCS teams in the spring and maybe play Group of 5s in the fall. I mean, I know that the
G5 teams in the fall, but I
know that the attraction to them playing G5s in the spring is that it doesn't cost them anything in terms of wins and losses. And I think that if you allowed P5s to play G5s in the spring, they're probably not going to play them in the fall.
Well, and I think that would actually be a positive, especially now if the Southeastern Conference goes to the 9-game conference schedule. That's one fewer game that they'll be able to put on the schedule for a home game. And I think more fans would show up to a spring game if you were playing a FCS or G5 team.
Certainly.
Alabama and Auburn have been, notorious for playing those FCS teams just before the Iron Bowl as kind of a tune-up or whatever. But the 9-game conference schedule would really make that more difficult. And those FCS programs, they rely on that stuff.
Yeah.
They really do. And so to me, and like you just said, not having to worry about W's and L's, I think it would be a really intriguing idea. And 2, I think it would work better for everybody involved. Everybody.
Well, I mean, I think if P5s played FCS teams in the spring, they wouldn't be as likely to drop the hammer on them. I think that they would be more willing to kind of mix in some younger guys earlier and that kind of thing and kind of clear the benches. And they would probably go into it with that game plan from the start rather than, playing your starters 3 quarters or whatever it is. So like you said, I think it would probably be better for everybody involved if it went that way. And I would just, again, I don't know about G5s. I'd rather see them play those teams when it means a little bit more, I think. Now, will they do that under, like you said, with the 9-game schedule and that kind of thing? They may not necessarily be as amenable to that, and it may not necessarily work out as well. But that would be my preference for them to play the FCS teams that need that, because they're gonna for sure fall off the schedule with that 9-game schedule in the SEC. Now, I don't know how it's going to work, on a national basis. I don't know what FCS team UCLA or Washington winds up playing. Maybe Washington and East Washington and something like that. But, generally speaking, I think that, well, one, I guess we're a lot more familiar with the FCS teams in this area, but there are a lot more of those matchups and a lot more schools to choose from, I guess.
There are. And again, I think it just gives it gives an opportunity for those schools to continue getting those money games. And it might actually increase the number of opportunities for FCS schools. Cause I mean, you don't see, Washington, Oregon playing those type games. One, because they do play a 9-game conference schedule, and then they have to play one other P5 conference team. and same with with the Big Ten as well as Big 12. I think the SEC is the only one. The SEC and the ACC both play 8-game conference schedules, but they do require you to play one other Power 5 team. But adding that, then you're down to 2 regular season games that you have for quote money games. Giving that to group of 5 teams and that sort of thing, and here's the thing, I love watching Jacksonville State beat Ole Miss and Florida State
and Florida State, yeah,
and it's really cool, but more times than not, we're getting our heads handed to us. Florida State in 2009 with Ryan Perrilloux was, beat them for 59 minutes and 47 seconds. And, they scored twice in 13 seconds to beat us. But outside of that, Georgia Tech whipped us one year. I mean, just by about 50, taking Auburn to overtime was, it's not the norm.
But isn't that why you play the games though?
It is why you play the games. And again, that's why it's important for those teams to still get that opportunity, but giving everybody that opportunity to play 2 or 3 deep. And it doesn't even have to be an actual game. It can be a controlled scrimmage if need be. I mean, you can, play a quarter, play a half, and then let 1s and 1s, 2s and 2s, 3s and 3s, or whatever, however that has to work. But I mean, again, most places aren't getting 50% capacity at their spring games because people just don't care. Now, Alabama and Auburn are a little different because they do their fan days where they let you get autographs and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to put 75% of the fans and give an opportunity for those fans who don't get to see you play real games. I mean, the A-Day games are great for fans because it is those people who never get a chance to go and see the team.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd be really cool to be able to see them play somebody different, somebody else. And especially if it were, an FCS team like Alabama A&M or Alabama State or Kennesaw, or Kennesaw, I guess,
or right here locally, Vanderbilt, TSU, MTSU, and Tennessee Tech,
please,
something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Tennessee playing East Tennessee State, which 2 years ago might not have been a good idea, but it gives everybody that really wants to see something different. And I don't know that it's going to happen. I don't know that it can happen.
Right.
I don't know what the goal would be behind it, but honestly, if there's a way to make it happen, I think both the NCAA and the conferences should try.
I think it's certainly worth looking into.
Now, is there anything that prevents it? Could Auburn say, "Hey, come on over and do a controlled scrimmage"? I wonder.
I don't know. I mean, you got to feel like there is something that prevents it. Otherwise, it probably would have happened.
Yeah.
Sort of like these basketball preseason scrimmages that you don't see.
Yeah, the Gonzaga, Tennessee type thing.
Yeah.
NCAA does it. But basketball,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, which, that's preseason, but there isn't a preseason for.
There's
for,
not
for
a spring.
football.
There's not a spring practice for basketball. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where it goes or if it goes anywhere. But it's certainly nice to talk about in April.
And it's, again, I see the only college football thing kind of going on right now, but I thought that was a good idea. Again, not a new idea, but certainly worth mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get to Dave Hooker, want to throw this out there. I don't know if you've seen this, but another report, or at least some sort of report, has come out that John Morant threatened a shoe salesman. Now, I don't know if this is
this recent or is this pre?
I don't know.
Pre Denver. Yeah.
As last summer. Okay. As he hid in the back, the shoe salesman says Ja threatened him as he hid in the back of a sneaker store for nearly an hour, and told police about it, but he never heard from them again. So this is awfully interesting. It appears that a police report was taken in September. Morant was with that group of people at the high school in Germantown, and where the one guy slapped the phone out of the student's hand who was filming, and at the volleyball game. And then you've got this with the other mall incident. And it really appears that Memphis police did its best to keep Ja out of trouble for a while, and it eventually caught up with him. But man, I don't know who looks worse in this situation. Now, again, Ja has cleaned up his act, and I think that should be.
I mean,
that
it's been
should be
addressed.
commended.
It feels like, yeah. So,
but I think it's got to be addressed on the other side now. I don't know who looks worse. Is Ja the problem here, or is it Memphis police essentially enabling him for a year? You can't touch me. I'm John Morant, and the Memphis police are going to have my back. I mean, is that why it escalated to the point it escalated to? And could this have been nipped in the bud a year ago?
That's a fair question. It's a fair question, because I mean, and it's funny how police departments seem to go in one or two ways. They either go hunting for guys, or they, ignore them. Theoretically.
I mean, it's just a thought that, maybe this could have been all avoided, or at least, the major situations that we've come to find out about could have been avoided in the event that this was handled last year. But yeah, that's a CBS.com report from James Herbert that essentially says that, it was, he went to the police department and they just never followed up, filed a report, and that was it. So just saying, sometimes it actions need consequences, just so that the actions don't get worse.
Yeah. I mean,
so long as the consequences are
the consequences fit the crime.
Yes. That's an important factor.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want cops, or you don't want law enforcement hemming guys up unnecessarily, but you don't want folks getting away with stuff that they shouldn't, and that normal people walking the street don't. So you wouldn't think it'd be that hard. I don't know. I've never been an athlete.
There you go. But, it's not that hard. As someone who, obviously I'm not a superstar, but I did play. Not that it matters. I don't think you have. I'm not the kind of guy who thinks you have to play to have a good opinion,
or an opinion. Yeah.
Or an opinion at all. And, there's, and my favorite is looking back at Will Compton's dumb butt having an opinion when you have just to have one. Don't go out there having an opinion just because you think you need to have one. Just that's the.
Sometimes it's okay to say I don't know.
It's okay to just be quiet. It really is. I promise.
It really is.
Oh, hey, real quick before I know Dave will be joining us here shortly. the Tennessee softball 111-0 over Mercer. If anyone cares, they're playing Baylor right now, and that's pretty much it for what we know on in the world of sports in this area. So
at this moment.
All right, we will take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk about Tennessee's NCAA woes, upcoming NCAA probe. I struggle to call it a trial because it's not really a trial, but they will speak with the NCAA and find out what their punishment may be. So Dave Hooker will join us from Off the Hook Sports right after this on Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Attention Tennessee homeowners, we want to buy your house. Hi, we are Real Property Solutions, a local real estate investing group. We pay cash for all types of property, so you walk away with more money in your pocket because we eliminate any fees, closing costs, and commissions. Now the best part, we can buy your house as is, meaning you don't have to do a thing to your property. You get to take what you want, leave what you don't, and don't even worry about cleaning. We close on your timeline, whether that's 7 days or 70 days. Interested in selling? Just give us a call and we'll come out to your property and quote you a cash offer within 24 hours. Please call 615-527-8750. That's 615-527-8750.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Back now on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yow and Mo Patton coming to you from the Lee Company studio. Again, glad to have you with us on this Thursday as we are continuing our discussion from yesterday about Tennessee's NCAA investigation that is a little over 2 years running at this point, but it does seem to have potentially an end in sight, a light at the end of the tunnel, if you will.
Hopefully it's not a train.
And hopefully there's not a train. That's right. And to talk a little bit more about it, we go to the Real Property Solutions hotline, and joining us is the Dave Hooker at the Dave Hooker on Twitter from Off the Hook Sports. Dave, what's up, man?
Not a lot. Just so you know, it was the Dave Hooker show. I'm not that pretentious. And somebody else had the Dave Hooker, so I got rid of the show, and I couldn't get rid of the. So there's a Dave Hooker in Britain, actually, that is a soccer official that has at Dave Hooker. I just wanted everybody to know that I'm not quite that pretentious.
That's okay. Be pretentious, bro. It's all right.
Hey, that
dude is Dave Hooker. You are the Dave Hooker. I appreciate it.
I mean, the Blake Lovell, we have him on all the time. So I mean, people have the in front. It's not has nothing to do with that. We
sometimes it does.
Sometimes it does. Yeah.
Sometimes it does.
Yeah. That's called the verifying yourself with your own the instead of a check mark. So I might get banned from banned from Twitter by Elon Musk at some point. So
well,
he's after us.
You are right. Speaking of folks being after folks, is the NCAA after Jeremy Pruitt?
Yeah, I think that's ultimately what the axe to grind is. And I think Tennessee has done everything they could to separate themselves from Jeremy Pruitt, and that will bode well for Tennessee in this latest round of hearings, which will commence late next week. But I don't think Jeremy Pruitt has any chance of getting off the hook on this thing. If when you have if 75% of the stuff is true, half the stuff is true, wife involved, personnel, group effort, then you've run a really, really dirty program. And I think Jeremy Pruitt ultimately will pay the ultimate price. If not, then Tennessee fans should be worried. If they turn this on the university as a lack of institutional control, then that's bad news for the Vols.
I don't think that phrase has been used, fortunately, for the University of Tennessee. And Chris, did you hear what he said a second ago? That he doesn't think Jeremy Pruitt is going to get off the hook?
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I really didn't mean to do that. But, yeah, I mean, Jeremy Pruitt, man, and I thought either he was really – I'd heard whispers he was cheating before it became public, but I thought he was cheating at a pretty high level, and based off what Tennessee has uncovered, he has. Or at least, Maurice, you would, I think, appreciate this from covering people as long as you have, and the motivation. The motivation for Tennessee is at least to separate themselves from Jeremy Pruitt. Whether or not it's true at the end of the day, that's the goal, and they have gone all out to do that.
Well, and Dave, you guys mentioned this on your show yesterday. Obviously, I was watching and I enjoyed the conversation. But
thank you.
It was important for you guys to note and for everyone to understand that Jeremy Pruitt was about as conspicuous as you could be with this. I mean, you said you heard rumors, but I mean, it was pretty well known that they were doing things they shouldn't have been doing. Now, the big question is, did the university know about it? Did Philip Fulmer know about it? How much involvement did university officials have in not nipping this in the bud earlier?
Well, that you bring up a really interesting point. Okay, because if I want to play NCAA attack dog, then I'm going to say, why did Philip Fulmer get his buyout? He must have been somewhat responsible, or he must have at least known. Why wasn't he admonished just like Jeremy Pruitt was? Well, the reason is obvious, because he had done so much for the university.
Because he's Philip Fulmer.
Yeah, because he's Philip Fulmer. And, they weren't going to treat him like that. You could argue they should have. And then you would have a complete 100% break. When you start not paying buyouts, that's a sign in legalese that, hey, he wasn't holding up his end of the bargain. So, but they didn't do that, and it was a stepping down thing. We all know what happened, but he got his $350,000 buyout. So, in some sense, you're saying everything was okay. If the NCAA wants to take that angle, they can. And I do think Philip Fulmer is partly responsible for this whole mess. I have trouble believing he's an intelligent guy. I have trouble believing that he didn't know some of this stuff wasn't going on earlier than when I heard it, or even later when it broke.
Speaking with Dave Hooker from Off the Hook Sports out of Knoxville here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. You know, Dave, as you consider this whole situation, how did Jeremy Pruitt, when you have the violations that took place under him, you feel like this wasn't his first rodeo. He didn't come to the University of Tennessee as head coach and decide, you know what, I'm gonna buy some players. You just feel like this has happened before at some point, do you not? Or did he just come to Knoxville and decide to do that?
Well, that's an interesting question, Maurice. I hadn't thought of it from that perspective, but you would definitely think he did something at some point along the way. Okay. And so, and I think it's clear if you look at his resume that he's bounced around a lot. Being at Florida State for just 1 year, that's a red flag for me. I happen to know the reason why, and it has nothing to do with paying players, but I can't really get into that. But just being there 1 year,
text me.
Yeah, I will. But being there 1 year is a red flag. Mm-hmm. So he didn't have to do it when he was at Alabama, because the sales pitch is pretty awesome, pretty easy. Hey, win a championship. Worst case scenario is you have to sit a year or two and then go to the NFL with more tread on your tires. So I doubt he had to do it there. But along the way, somehow he learned to pick it up. And then there might have been desperation. Maurice, I mean, I've covered guys that were so desperate to be a head coach. If that was caving in on them in year 2 or 3, and they could feel like, hey, I've gotten myself in over my head, I could see them figuring out ways to cheat and doing it in a haphazard method because they want to hang on to their job.
Well, and I was going to say, as poorly as he did it, it's almost like he didn't know what he was doing.
That's fair.
And
does his incompetence speak to his competence or incompetence in cheating?
I mean, this is, and the fact that your wife was a former compliance officer, you would think that you could figure out what you can't do.
The workarounds.
And yet, here we are. So I don't know. Maybe
it was his first time, huh? Okay.
Well, my wife knows you can't pay players, because we do now with Jacob Bourne and Cooper Mays at Off the Hook Sports plug. Right. And but she had to be, NIL had to be explained to her. She's my accountant / business manager. So I mean, anybody even remotely close to athletics would know that you can't pay players. And listen, I don't know if both you guys are married, but if you go home to your wife and you're like, hey, I want you to put a bunch of money in a Chick-fil-A bag, that's starting off in the wrong direction.
It's like,
I don't care where you end up. If it's give it to Louis down the street, who
doesn't matter who you're giving it to. It's like, why are we putting it in this Chick-fil-A bag? I mean, exactly. And like you said, those of us who are married or have been married, certainly, they're not just doing that, just carte blanche.
If I come home with $6K in cash, that's the least of the questions is going to be, why are we putting it in a Chick-fil-A bag? It's where the heck did you go?
Yeah.
Why did you come home with $6K cash?
And why are we giving it to somebody else?
I know. Honey, I have an envelope. No, that won't be necessary. I stopped at Chick-fil-A. Good thing it wasn't Sunday, so we can go ahead and dole this money out. So that's, I mean, it's just all kinds of bad. And it just, I mean, it just really just speaks to the incompetence of how out of hand it got, because it was really, really bad.
It did get out of hand. And you asked this question, I'm going to ask it again, because I don't know that you were able to answer it, but where the money came from. Has that, has that even entered into anybody's questions, or do they care at this point with NIL?
Well, again, this is why it's so stupid, because it really is, because the way you do that, if you're respected among your boosters, and maybe Jeremy Pruitt wasn't at this point, you call your boosters and you say, hey, can you take care of this guy? You don't go handing out the money yourself. That's just,
or having your wife hand it out.
No, you don't. You just don't do that. So again, that just speaks to the craziness of the whole situation. I think the only scary thing for Tennessee, guys, is I can tell you they're an intermediary. Jeremy Pruitt reached out to me and had things that he wanted to say that I didn't, particularly think much of, especially when he wasn't willing to go on the record. And this person wasn't willing to go on the record, I should say. And I think he wants to save his career to the point that he doesn't care if it hurts Tennessee or not. And
why would he?
Yeah, why would he? They didn't give him the buyout that he agreed to, but they fired him for cause, so he didn't get all that cash. When you sign one of those contracts, you think, I'm going to be a multimillionaire at the very least, but then you mess it up, and I'm sure that it's easier to point the finger elsewhere. But it's really odd to me, too, that this hearing comes out at the same time that Josh Heupel. So this would be dirty pool in my mind. It's okay to go out and right what's wrong if you thought your career was wrecked. But if he had any push in the fact that they're going to have these hearings at the same time Tennessee's going on their big orange caravan, and for the first time Josh Heupel is going to cross the state, well, Maurice, what's he going to be asked at every stop? Jackson, Tennessee is not going to say, oh, they asked him that in Nashville, so I'm not going to ask him here. So he's going to be asked that at every single stop. So I don't know if Jeremy Pruitt was that smooth to pull that off, but if not, it's just bad timing for the ball.
Well, as we sit here and talk about his incompetence in paying players, though, you can't feel like he was smart enough to orchestrate that, can you?
I don't, but it is weird that it came out the very next day.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a situation where they announced the caravan and they had already reached out to Pruitt, and he says, oh, well, I can make it this day. Again, that's maybe a loose connection. I don't necessarily think that's the case, but
it's certainly something that makes you go, because we discussed it on the show yesterday, how close in proximity it was to the Big Orange Caravan. I think there are 2 stops after the meetings with the NCAA take place in Indiana and Cincinnati. So it's certainly interesting timing here, as we talk with Dave Hooker of Off the Hook Sports, covering University of Tennessee athletics here on Main Street Sports Today. Dave, there was a question that I had and I lost it because I'm old, but okay, here we go. Pruitt's trying to avoid a show cause. That's not going to happen, right?
I wouldn't think so. Goodness gracious. I think that they could come down on Tennessee and still he could get a show cause that's significant. I'm talking 5 years in football. That would be significant. Here's the problem is Jeremy Pruitt's just a run-of-the-mill, really good recruiter. And I say that based off his career, not at Tennessee. But a really good recruiter has trouble finding a position in the NFL, and he did. And the next thing you know, he's playing poker. And so really, it's not like another guy that can just go to the NFL and hang on and maybe even
like Derek Ainsley did.
Yeah. Jeremy Pruitt is not a good edge rushing pass technique coach. He's not really good at particularly anything schematically. I hate for that to sound terrible, but it's hard for him to find.
He's not at the level of he can be a difference maker on an NFL staff.
Agree. Yes.
That's you're talking about a guy who played, he played defensive back, he played quarterback. He knows and understands defense, but he's not at the level of those type of guys at the NFL level. He just isn't. And you can point to his time with the Giants to prove that.
And so, because he's not a difference maker at the NFL level, he didn't secure the bag as a head coach at the collegiate level. So he's got to try to get this show cause as minimal as possible so that he can get back to actually making some money somewhere.
Yes, he does.
Again, a show cause does not preclude anyone from hiring you. They just have to show
theoretically
as to why they have hired. Well, let's think about this. He doesn't have to do this anymore because NIL is completely legal now. That is why we have that is the reason we have decided to hire him. Does that make a difference to the NCAA?
No.
I don't,
because I'm cutting you off, Dave, just a second. No, NIL is in place now. NIL was not in place then, and the rules that he broke. And I mean, I think a school can try to sell, well, this won't happen again. Well, yeah, but it still happened then.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with Maurice on this. I think there's probably a general sentiment, kind of like me with counting up what year a player is because of the COVID year, is like, I can't wait till the COVID year just to go away in terms of eligibility. I'm like, junior, senior, what are you? I think the NCAA wants any sort of issue with paying players to go away now that it's not an issue moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's in the back of their mind. But the problem is you got two parties who didn't see this the same way, and it's very, very severe, and the penalties and the allegations. So if they don't see it the same way, they continue to fight and squawk, and that continues to bring it up. So I don't think you get a pass because NIL is around now. You may get a little wink, wink, but I don't think it's a total pass.
Dave Hooker on the Real Property Solutions hotline here on Main Street Sports today. If you want to get paid, they'll buy your house. Just give them a call, 615-285-5970. They'll pay you cash. You don't have to do anything to it. Leave what you want, take what you want. We'll close on your timeline. 7 days or 70, it doesn't matter. Just give them a call again, 615-285-5970. Dave,
I actually think leave what you want, take what you want is the last thing they said to Jeremy Pruitt on the way.
Leave it all. Don't take anything, as a matter of fact.
As long as it's not nailed down, take it. And get
we don't go.
Just go.
Please leave.
Yeah.
Dave, we appreciate you as always, and look forward to talking with you again soon. Hopefully they can get this thing resolved semi-quickly in the world of NCAA, whatever that means.
Yeah, I mean, this you mentioned 2 years. This feels like it's been the better part of a decade.
It does.
And this is just going on and on. And listen, they're not going to have a decision next week. Maurice has been around. You guys have been around this long enough. They'll take another 3-4 weeks to have another hearing, and they'll release something in June. At best.
If that.
At best, you're right.
You're right. You're right. Hey, Dave, we appreciate it, man.
See you guys.
All right.
Oh, do a little baseball talk here before we get out of here, and we'll send it to you, Mo, for this day in Braves history.
Okay. Hang on. Let me scroll back up the page here. There we go. April 6, 2013. Oh, brother. B.J. Upton solo home run in the bottom of the ninth pulled Atlanta into a 5-5 tie, and 2 batters later, Justin Upton's solo shot gave the Braves a 6-5 walk-off win over the Cubs. Over 2 seasons as teammates, the Uptons went on to set an MLB record by homering in the same game on 5 different occasions. That was this day in Braves history.
That was a good day.
That was a good day.
It almost made you think that this was going to be good. And then
it was good
for a minute.
Until it wasn't.
Until it wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Mo, we're back, or not back home for the first time.
Yeah.
This season as
Are the Braves the last team to open at home?
Probably not, but who knows? Then again, that's just how the MLB rolls these days. Atlanta being at home is the last thing on their mind. Spencer Strider going tonight against Blake Snell should be a really, really fun matchup there. And unfortunately, Mo, I don't think we're going to see Ryan Weathers this week.
I wouldn't think so, because he went, what, Tuesday night?
So even though it's a 4-game set, he's the one pitcher we miss.
Yeah, lucky us. That's unfortunate. And it's unfortunate for the city of Loretto, because it's also unfortunate for the Braves.
Well,
because they'd have had some folks down there. Now, I feel like they'll have folks there anyway, but yeah, it would have been nice. I wonder if San Diego comes back to Atlanta later.
I know this is it. This is the only time they're in Atlanta all year long.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is unfortunate for sure. But now that you play every team in the league, you don't get multiple home games with those with the other NL teams.
Yeah.
So again tonight, Spencer Strider, the starting pitcher. This lineup that the Braves have put together tonight, to me, this is my personal opinion, feels like the best lineup that they possibly can put together.
Okay, read it to me, because I've not seen it.
It's going to be Acuna and right, Olsen at first, Riley at third, Darno hitting cleanup is the designated hitter. Ozzie Albies will play second, Sean Murphy at catcher, Michael Harrison center, Pilar in left field, and then Arcia at shortstop.
I think Pilar and Rosario are almost interchangeable.
Yep. And I mean, either one of those, but the rest of it is pretty much, it's what you would love to see on a daily basis.
Give me that.
And Darno, with Darno Murphy swapping at catcher whenever is necessary.
And no Ozuna.
Just get him. I just don't understand. We're going to be paying him anyway. Why are we paying him to suck? I'd rather pay him to stay home.
I mean, that's as concise as you can make it right there. Yeah. Let's not pay him to be a negative.
And he is a negative. He doesn't help you anywhere. He hasn't helped you at the plate. He certainly doesn't.
He doesn't help you in the field.
Not when you've got Rosario as an option.
Yeah. Or Pilar.
Those guys can fly. And they can actually throw the ball into the infield.
Yeah, or to the plate. I mean, do you see that throw Rosario made?
And absolutely,
after that,
don't run on anybody we got.
Yeah, so
just don't run on us. But yeah, I mean, this is the perfect lineup. And by the way, Jared Schuster was recalled after Colin McHugh went on the 15-day IL with shoulder inflammation. I don't know how true that is. They just needed a fifth starter.
Your shoulders hurt. What? Punch. Your shoulders hurt.
It's a little inflamed. Yeah. So there you go. Oh, well, Mo.
Hey, real quick. Former MTSU women's basketball assistant, former Lady Vol, former Shelbyville standout, Alex Fuller Simmons has been named women's basketball coach at the University of Memphis. She went 89-57 in 5 seasons at Gardner-Webb, including 29-4 this past year. So,
again, MTSU Memphis women's basketball game forthcoming. One can only
gotta
hope.
be a whole lot of blue there.
Yeah. Enjoy your trip, Mo.
Don't worry. We'll be in touch.
We'll see.
And I will let you know where we're going out of.
We'll see you soon. This has been Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Back tomorrow at 2 o'clock with special guest hosts Wade Neely and myself. See you then.